Every city has amazing people who tell amazing stories, shared all across social media, TV channels, and articles. However, consistently, many stories remain unheard, therefore unwritten and unshared. These stories remain hidden in plain sight. An early 2022 estimated count of homelessness in California found that approximately 173,800 people are without stable housing in the state. In the Fresno County area, there are nearly 5,000 individuals with no or unstable housing, but there very well could be more. This is nearly 4% of the Fresno population, unsure of when their next meal will be, or whether they will be safe to rest that night. And even worse, 2 homeless shelters are closing in Fresno this year due to insufficient funds, and 3 fires in less than 1 month have hit Mission Thrift. The first person that we interviewed was named Alan. However, unfortunately, the audio was unsalvageable, but I still wanted to share his story. He shared with me how it is a common misconception that people believe that homeless people just want money, when in reality, he goes on to say that homeless people are some of the nicest people that he's ever met, and that they are always open to share anything they have with other people. He also went on to say that the biggest thing that he's had to deal with in his experience with being homeless is how lonely it gets being on your own and not having somewhere to stay. I think there's a huge misconception surrounding homelessness, most commonly being that all homeless people are because of drugs. And while a substantial percentage of homeless people struggle with substance abuse, there may be a deeper issue at hand. However, before getting into that, let's take a look at the other factors. There are many reasons other than drugs that someone could be homeless, some being low-paying jobs, divorce, loss, mental health, trauma, illness or accidents, abuse, eviction, and more. That being said, statistics show that about 25% of the homeless population abuses harmful substances. However, instead of focusing on the what, many times the why is heavily overlooked. The most common reason for drug abuse is mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and loneliness. One of the most harmful myths about addiction is that it's just a lack of strength, that people struggling with substance abuse simply need to try harder or make better choices. But addiction isn't always a choice. It physically alters the brain, affecting how people think, feel, and act. It's not a moral failure. It's complex and needs real treatment, compassion, and support, not judgment. But how can we help? Luckily, Fresno has a lot of ways to aid the cause. An example of this would be the Fresno Mission. Starting off as a homeless shelter, they have over 1,500 volunteers who dedicate time to aiding those in need, offering services like food, shelter, case management, and more. They recently just built an open city center on Dakota. They also have many businesses like Mission Thrift that take donations to continue to offer these services. Many times, people don't know how to help because we have issues of our own. Maybe you're struggling financially or are just dealing with some mental turmoil. However, you don't need boatloads of money or a huge platform to be the change you want to see. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is care. Donate old clothes and blankets to local shelters, or cans to a local church for a food drive. And if you cannot afford to, that's okay too. Start a conversation. Look someone in the eyes instead of looking away. Treat people with dignity. No matter where they sleep at night, one small act of kindness can mean more to someone than you think. Everyone I know grew up seeing homelessness on street corners and parks, outside grocery stores. It was always there in the background. So much so that so many of us began to look past it. We normalized it. We accepted it as just another part of Fresno life. But it should never be normal. These aren't statistics. These are real people. They're someone's son, someone's daughter, their cousins, nephews, grandparents, childhood best friends. They're people who laughed once, who had dreams, who took wrong turns or suffered losses just like any of us could.
Never let your work come in front of your family, but always work for your family. Parents die, things happen, depression sets in, and then it's really hard to climb out that hole.
We forget how thin the line really is between stability and struggle. One accident, one lost job, one missed paycheck. That's all it can take. Homelessness isn't just drug addiction. It's a failure of systems, of compassion, of our willingness to see people fully. Everyone deserves a second chance. Everyone deserves to know where they're sleeping that night. Everyone deserves a warm, home-cooked meal. Everyone deserves dignity, shelter, and hope.